Welcome to Offensive, your one-stop shop for NFL talk, baby. All right, let's bring it over to Dave for segment 1.
Oh, man, I just absolutely love it. The preseason, it's dead. A lot of fun weekend. Great weekend. We had Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday going on. Hey, you want to kick us off, Neckbeard? What was some of the big things that happened? What do you want to talk about?
All right. First, we got to start with the man, the legend, the pain in the butt, Aaron Rodgers. Like, you guys can see the Packer flags behind me. I love the Green Bay Packers, but Rodgers gets under my skin. I've been telling people he's been terrible. He's going to be terrible this year after watching with the Jets. And, man, he had a lot of hatred for the Jets. 4 touchdown passes, a lot of them to open receivers. Really good scheme run on that game. Pittsburgh's defense looked terrible. The Jets ran for almost 200 yards on them. They had almost 100 more yards total in that game. If it wasn't for that turnover, I don't even think Rodgers has the chance to win it. And then it still takes a 60-plus yard field goal. I mean, that was the opposite. If you asked me a game where the total score was going to be under 25, if I had to pick that game, I would have picked Pittsburgh versus New York Jets. And they threw up 60 points. So, hey, good job, Rodgers. You looked really good week 1. But I still don't believe in any of those teams. That's my personal opinion. Now, the other game that really was interesting for me was the San Francisco 49ers beating the Seattle Seahawks. The 49ers had a ton of yards, but didn't look very good. Brock Purdy threw 2 picks, and he should have thrown a third in the end zone. Luckily, his tight end bailed him out. So the 49ers pull that out. Seahawks go down to drive. Sam Darnold didn't really look good that game. I still think Sam's going to be okay for the Seahawks, everybody. But, he finally, last drive, his offensive line lets him down. Story of Seattle, guys. His offensive lineman gets pushed right into his arm while he's trying to make the throw. It looks like he's got JSN on that play, too. Seattle should have won that game, could have won that game, but the 49ers pull it out. Typical NFC West showdown. The 49ers get a lucky win, very 49er-ish, at least in the regular season. So that's what I got. All right, how about you, Hype? What'd you like this weekend?
So I'm super interested in the AFC West because everyone was talking about like the Broncos are going to be great. The Chiefs, what are they going to do? And watching the Chiefs game, man, like they look like they're on their last leg. Like Travis Kelce talked about, I'm all in this year. I locked in. I'm not doing any movies with Adam Sandler anymore. And they still kind of looked meh. And I'm thinking that in their defense didn't look super great. Without having an elite defense, I'm thinking the Chiefs are going to maybe win 11, 12 games at most this year and not make it very far in the playoffs when they're going to have to play like the Bills, the Ravens. Like it's going to be rough. Like, Mahomes is the elusive guy making big plays, but I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson scare me and those teams more than the Chiefs do. So the AFC West is resetting right now. And the other game that was really interesting was the Broncos. Everyone was saying the Broncos are going to be really good. Their offense looked terrible. Now, maybe, I don't know what you guys think, that maybe the Broncos offense can rebound, but there's nothing that scares me about their offense at all. And another thing, like if their defense does not maintain their dominance, I think they could be in really big trouble, and the Chargers could overtake them both in the AFC West for sure.
What about the Raiders? So talking about the AFC West, the Raiders punked the Patriots. I mean, the Patriots aren't that great, but man, the Patriots look awful.
They threw for a lot of yards. They
Yeah.
looked like they have a competent offense. We're not sure how well the defense is going to perform against a good team. But that's the thing, is there could be a whole shift. The Chargers and the Raiders could be at the top of that division like halfway through this season, and I would not be shocked at all.
Yeah. Chiefs
Geno
in last
Smith
place.
actually had one of his best games ever.
Yeah, he looked decent. He did. He looked decent.
He's got a lot of weapons. Brock Bowers is hurt. Jacoby Myers is a pretty good receiver. They have a backup. Their second string tight end's pretty good. They've got a good running back. They couldn't get the running game going, so they're not maybe as impressive as like the Chargers were this weekend. But we'll see if they can get that running game going, because I think that division is going to be super even, and I have no idea who's going to win it this year.
Yeah, that's exciting. Chief, what about you?
One of the games I was geeked out was the Bucks and the Falcons last year. Both of the times those teams got together, I think there were 7 touchdowns scored each game, and 500 yards of 500 yards of passing, maybe 600. Very explosive. This year, Atlanta had a different quarterback. They handed the reins over to the young guy. They put Kirk O'Chains, let him count his money on the bench. He needs a big ass bench for all that bread. It was a really interesting game. Last year, Baker did a lot, threw for a lot of yards. Yesterday, he only threw 167. It wasn't crazy or anything, but the bright spot for him was his first round rookie, Emeka Mbuka. At first, when they drafted him, we thought it was a luxury pick because of everyone else that they already had out there. But with Godwin getting hurt, with McMillan getting hurt, even their tight end, they weren't even sure if he was going to be able to play. And Mbuka was able to go out there, and we thought, okay, he's the most pro-ready wide receiver there is in the league. So you thought maybe it'd be, short and middle routes, but he was busting open a couple of deep routes, which is really interesting to see. So it wasn't the same thing that, Chris Godwin did, because thought maybe he'd fit into that role. But he made some great plays. He got 2 touchdowns off of 4 receptions. Really helped to save the game for the Bucks. Let them win 23-20. Penix had a good day, almost 300 yards, only 1 touchdown passing. And then they weren't able to run the ball. It's fun watching the Bucks with their run D. Nice to see it's back. You can't run against them. Algier led the way with 24. Bijan did his damage, so with 100 receiving yards, leading the Falcons. So
yeah,
it was. And Kyle Pitts actually showed up a little bit too.
Hey man, tight end number 1 this year. Just kidding. Baker should have thrown 3 picks though, Dave. Did you see that? Baker should have had 3 interceptions in that game, and he ended up with none. So yeah, he kind of got lucky, but divisional game.
He got very lucky, and maybe they finally ran out of offensive coordinators that can help to develop him. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Another interesting game was what I thought for sure was going to be the shootout. They finally had their quarterback and his 2 wide receivers playing in the preseason. They're finally not going to have a crappy start for the first month of the season. The Bengals were going to go nuts. It's going to be them and the Browns. The Browns are going to have to keep up going against that weak-ass defense. And it was one of the big sleepers of the week. Cincinnati Bengals had 7 yards in the second half. And I don't want to talk about fantasy too much, but Jamar Chase is number 1 overall pick for a lot of people. A lot of people stacked him and Burrow, and a lot of people took a bath in week 1 just because it just wasn't there. The Browns, they got some pass rush up there. They got a nice defensive line, but Bengals doing Bengal things in the first month, that was a real downer. And then the Browns had legitimate shots to win the game. They just didn't want to do it as hard as Cincinnati tried to give the game away to them. But, it's what makes football fun. You never know what's going to happen. So,
yeah, the Bengals really tried to lose that game. They tried to lose that game. It was not good.
They're notorious for starting slow. But do you think it's because the Browns' defensive line was like the problem for them?
I think that's part of it, but there was a couple passes where Burrow and Chase weren't really on the same page. They weren't running the ball well. I mean, me and Dave were talking about this earlier, me and Chief, that the Bengals historically don't score a lot of points against the Browns. Those interdivisional games, like the Bengals don't usually drop 25-30 on them. So maybe it should have been more expected, but it was worse than expected, I guess, for a lot of people. Yeah. 17-16. That's what I thought the Pittsburgh Jets game would be,
right?
And they dropped 60 points together. So
that was the only game that hit the over all weekend long. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? The one game I would have picked to hit the under, but there we go.
Yeah, what an amazing, crazy weekend for week 1. Often people write off week 1 and say it's not important, but I think we learned a lot of interesting things about NFL teams, and I think teams are starting faster this year and showing who they are faster this year. I think it's really super exciting. So it's a super great weekend. Let's go over to segment number 2, which we love, is One Smart, One Dumb with Neckbeard.
All right. So in this segment, everybody, we're going to talk about one smart thing we noticed, one thing that's maybe different or caught us off guard that we thought was really smart that happened this weekend, and one dumb thing, maybe a mistake by a ref, maybe a bad decision by a coach, maybe just something that a player did that we didn't think was very good. So one smart, one dumb. We're going to do this segment every week.
I know. So a dumb thing would be doing a stream during a Bears Monday Night Football game. When Aaron
so that's Dave's
27-yard touchdown. Who Derek has on his team.
That's right. And I'm playing Dave in fantasy right now. Okay, I'm playing Dave in fantasy right now, and if I've got some Vikings players on my team, yes, I know I'm a Packers fan, but you got to do it sometimes. Aaron Jones, man,
And he
still
has
love
some
you.
Cowboys fans too.
And I do, I know. But if I end up beating Dave tonight in fantasy and the Bears lose, he's probably just going to leave the show, guys. Just so you know.
He
So
might
this might be the last time you see Dave.
I had a
All right.
99% chance to win going into the fourth
Yeah.
quarter.
So, okay, Dave, you know what? Let's get it out of the way for you since you want to watch this Bears game. What was one smart thing and one dumb thing that you noticed this weekend?
Greg Roman, San Diego Chargers, they love to run the ball. That's what he's known for. And then this year, week one, they actually used quite a few for some design runs for the quarterback, Justin Herbert. He's fantastic. His rookie year, he did amazing. And then he got hurt a little bit. He got hurt year to year. This year, they made some really smart design runs. So he didn't take a risk of getting some really big hits. And, they drew up some really great pass plays so that way he was able to drop back. And if the lanes were there, the game-winning run that he had to shut down the game was one of several that he had. So the running game, it isn't just the running back. They went out, they got Marion Hampton. We thought he is going to be fantastic. He got shut down. You saw Najee, was out a lot with his eye stuff. So I thought it was really smart to incorporate the quarterback into their run game. I really like that. And I think the Chargers are going to be interesting. They might actually not just do typical Chargers stuff, but who knows? It's only week one, but it's still, there's a little bit of hope.
Dude, Quentin Johnson looked like wide receiver one. That was crazy. Like after being a massive disappointment for basically 2 years, he looked unstoppable. And the Chiefs defense is no joke.
He's like the number one waiver wire pickup,
Dude,
probably.
I mean, I realize it's week one and everybody has up and downs, but like the Chiefs couldn't cover him. Like I couldn't believe it. Like they could not cover him. So that was something crazy. But yeah, really good scheme there by the Chargers. I agree. All right, what do you think was done this weekend, Dave?
Well, I said before the weekend that my smarter done thing was going to be a snap count for a certain defensive player for the Packers.
Your new favorite player, Micah Parsons?
My new favorite player, Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say he played 29 snaps, and that was dumb to me. I said, given if he had a back issue, if he had to take any sort of the shot just to help relieve the pain in the back, you made that trade so that way you'd win the last game of the year, not the first one. You were in a pretty good spot, and don't get me wrong, he made an impact. He was out there for 29 snaps, so less than half of the defensive snaps. He only did one snap in the first quarter. I thought that was smart.
Right.
On his 29 snaps, he had 3 pressures, 1 sack, and he was on the field for 3 of the 4 sacks for Green Bay. So what does this tell me? Yes, he did make an impact. Unfortunately, without him, you only got 1 sack without him. So that's kind of, But at the same time, you had a good enough lead. Goff really wasn't doing anything. So I think it would have been beneficial just to rest him up, because Thursday night, you all have to use him again against the Washington Commanders. So now he has to look. He has a mobile quarterback that he's going to have to go into. That's what you need him for. Nobody else on your defense can get after that quarterback. He's the only one that has the speed to do it. And now he might be a little bit sore and whatnot. I just would have liked that they would have held him to a pitch count below 20.
He did mention, Dave, himself that he needs to get a lot of rest before the next game.
Yeah. Dude, and I understand where you're coming from, Dave. Like, I wanted him on less than half the offensive snaps. Now, Detroit ran a ton of plays, so like maybe that made the count a little higher. And after he got his first sack, they didn't put him back out there. So, like, he had to get that first sack so that the crowd could go wild. I mean, let's be honest. That was pretty cool.
The headhunting sack.
That was
like I said,
cool.
the first quarter was smart. And even, when they brought him a couple of plays, they're smart about that. But they didn't have to play him as much as they did in the second half.
No, I get what you're saying, but we needed to beat the Lions and embarrass them. And mission accomplished, folks. Mission accomplished. So,
keep
all right.
your foot on the gas there.
You do. All right, let's go over to Hype. So let's go to you. What did you think was smart? What smart thing did you notice this weekend, Hype?
The only smart thing I saw was the Lions double teaming Micah Parsons. But I mean is they double team him correctly. Like if you watch tape and you double team Micah Parsons and you kind of do a half double team where you kind of like, oh, he's good. And then you kind of look around, he'll just sneak through you. The Lions knew we got to put 2 guys on him and both guys have to maul him the entire time. That's the only way you can stop this guy. And even when they did that, he still could sneak through sometimes. There's even pictures of both guys as simultaneously grabbing his face and doing whatever they possibly could, dirty moves, whatever, but you got to do what you got to do. That was literally like very smart of them, because because if they had not properly double teamed him, he might have completely wrecked that game just himself, like even more. And but it shows you the desperation the Lions have. Their offensive line, I'm like, I don't know what's going on with that. But yeah, that was the one really smart thing I saw this week where the Lions were smart enough to know that you have to fully double team Micah Parsons if you want to be able to stop him in the pass rush.
All right, that's good. All right, let's move on to mine. So the smart thing that I noticed, I'm actually going to go back to the first game of the year, the Cowboys and the Eagles. Play number 1. Dak spits on the floor, the ground of the stadium. When you see it in certain replays, it looks like he's spitting at Jalen Carter. He's not. Everybody knows he's not. But Jalen Carter comes over to start something, and Dak doesn't back off. Dak goads him and gets Jalen Carter to do something stupid. I think Dak was super smart because Jalen's kind of a hothead.
He
Dak
also kind of looked at him and winked and smiled after he spit, though.
No, he 100% goaded him because, and everyone's heard what happened now. Jalen's like, you spitting at me, and he just kind of smiled at him. And it's like, we know he wasn't. But, hey, if Jalen's there, by the way, Jalen, don't be on three yards on the other side of the football on the first play of the game, okay? That was dumb in itself, but that's not what I'm talking about. Dak goaded him, kind of got in his face, didn't do anything wrong. Jalen spits on him. Eagles lose their best player. Now, Dallas ultimately lost that game, but I thought that was really smart by Dak. I thought Dak handled it very well.
They could have won that game, though, easily at the end.
And, even after the game, I thought Dak answered questions and handled it extremely well. But, yeah, that was pretty smart. I thought Dak kind of did a little bit of good gamesmanship there.
It was probably the best thing he's ever done as a NFL
I was
player.
actually like, good job, dude. Like, that was actually kind of impressive.
See Jalen Carter completely out of the game.
I mean, I've never seen that. I don't think anyone's ever seen that before.
But
so
not only that, when you see the Eagles without Jalen Carter, they look like an average to above average.
Yeah, their defensive line was not doing well in that game.
They
were not.
Them. Hey, you get Jalen Carter out of there somehow, or be able to take him out. The Eagles are beatable.
Do you remember years ago when Ndamukong Suh got it for stepping on a Packer guard?
Yeah.
On the ground, do you remember what that guard did right before that?
No.
He was grabbing his shoe and he went with the shoe.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the pile.
So he goaded it. Yeah, so that was everyone saw that. You always see the second part, you never see the first. So
that's right.
He's the same kind of guy. He's big, he's bad, he's mean, and you can get him overheated and you don't think.
Yep. All right, now let's go on to my dumb thing. Okay, and this is dumb for a couple of reasons. So I'm going to stick to actually another game, the Friday night game, the Chiefs-Chargers game. And the dumb thing is Mahomes thinking he's a sideline ballerina. Look, man, go out of bounds. Or don't go out of bounds. You doing this thing where you're somewhat going out of bounds, not going out of bounds, trying to get penalties, and then you act like you're a badass because the Charger safety pulls up to let you out, and then you smack him. Like, dude, you have basically told the league to headhunt you when you go to the sideline, and you are going to get rocked one day. And that backup safety that's playing is going to hurt you because you think you're fucking special. That was so dumb. You are basically asking yourself to get hurt, Mahomes. The sideline rule is there to protect you. You've been taking advantage of it. I get it. It's pretty clever, but you've gone to the point now where it's dumb and you're trying to be tough about it. You are going to get rocked and it's going to cost you. It is so dumb to keep playing that game. Go out of bounds and take your yards, man. Don't start acting like you're a tough guy out there because trust me, there's way tougher guys than
he's
you.
giving people shoulder shivers as he's going
Dude,
out of bounds.
It's just
he's
dumb.
Some WWE guy.
He's already abused the rule, and to his credit, that's what good players do. They play within the rules and find ways to stretch them and things like that, right? I get that. That's gamesmanship. Do what you got to do.
Didn't that happen in the Packer game 2 years ago? As one of your guys, it got too close to the sideline, and it was a clean hit.
It was 100% clean hit because his foot was still in bounds.
Because it's Mahomes.
And he got the flag anyway. But I'm telling you, it's going to get to the point where, he's going to have a foot out of bounds and someone's is going to rock him because they're just going full steam because they don't expect him to step out. Or, but he's ruining his advantage. I'm telling you right now, it's going to come back to cost him.
Also, though, defenses are running around so fast now. On those sidelines, you want to hit him. Oh, I get a penalty. Who cares? If I take Mahomes out of the game,
we're going to win.
Game
exactly.
Over.
And that's what I'm saying. Maybe you lose, if you're a backup safety, nobody knows who you are. If you smack up Patrick Mahomes, people will remember you. That might get you a job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The
So-
Packers used to do that in the 80s to the Bears. They're like, we're going to lose, but we're going to try to injure the Bears players. They used
Yeah.
to do that.
Hey, didn't you
Oh,
have
yeah.
a hit list on somebody's towel?
I think that was true. I've heard that's true, but he didn't.
I
spell
don't
the names
condone
right.
that. I'm not trying to get everyone
No.
hurt, but I'm just saying
No.
people do that.
We're
when
not
they're
trying to
angry.
be Sean Payton here, and put people's names on lists. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's-
All right, let's move on. So that's the end of that segment, and let's
Wait,
go into the
we didn't
next
say
one.
our dumb ones yet.
No, you did. Did you not say your dumb one?
No.
I did. I just did my dumb one. Dave did his dumb one.
I didn't
What was
do
your
mine.
dumb one? Okay, we'll do your dumb one then. I missed
My
it.
dumb
dude.
one is really dumb.
What
My
is it?
dumb one is everything Jerry Jones is doing. So Mike McCarthy was on TV and he admitted that Jerry Jones told him, hey, everything we talk to in private's real. Everything that we do outside of this building or outside this office and the press is all lies and all just fake stuff I do to manipulate
Ooh.
people.
It's all part of the
all
soap
the stuff
opera.
you hear about Micah Parsons being a bad teammate, about all this stuff about him needing injections, all of it is completely a fucking lie. Like it's all like they literally had Cowboys players come out and say, I don't know what any of this is talking about. Like we actually liked Micah Parsons, like as a teammate, like maybe it's ex-players or something, but he's like the guys in the locker room right now. The Cowboys didn't have any problem with Micah Parsons at all. And then that this is also giving like locker room material to the Packers and Micah Parsons to galvanize even more and be like, oh, everyone's talking trash about our boy Micah Parsons. So that just, I think, pumped it up to the next level for Micah Parsons and the Packers. And you saw them on the field. They played like their hair was on fire. So thanks, Jerry Jones, for all of your amazing genius PR moves.
Honestly, dude, I think Jerry got to a point after like 20 years of sucking and them sucking in the playoffs where like he just wants the Cowboys to be the most important team, not the best team, like the team that's on TV the most. And he's admitted it to a point where he's basically said, if no one's talking about the Cowboys, I'm going to find something for them to talk about. Like he wants to be the center of attention more than he wants to win. And yeah, this pretty much proves that. So thank you, Jerry.
Well, he gives stuff for his fans to talk about because most Cowboy fans are just front runners anyways. So anything they hear, they're like, oh, that's true. Oh, Jerry said this, but it's all just him feeding them stuff. Like they don't care about winning football games.
Yep. So the one dumb thing is Jerry Jones' entire football decision-making process. Is that correct?
Well, it's Mike McCarthy literally just admitted that everything coming out of their, like, whatever, all the press is fake.
That is crazy. All right, so that finishes our one smart and one dumb. We're going to take it over to Hype now for the third segment of the show. Hype, what do we got?
Boom, boom, boom. We're doing Bears and Packers talk, which is super amazing. The Bears are literally playing right now as we speak.
Yep. The Bears are playing
TV.
right now.
They're joking.
Yep.
Yes.
We scored one field goal, unoffensive field goal since the opening drive.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, the other one was the defensive touchdown. That's right. Oh, boy. Where's this Ben Johnson offense? Hey, JJ, get in the end zone for me. If you get in the end zone, Dave loses at fantasy as well. Oh, that would be epic.
I was oh Jesus.
He was up by
need a touchdown
32
pass
points.
from
at
folks.
halftime.
Jefferson right now.
He was up by 32 points, folks. And now Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson both got me touchdowns. And I am down by 5 points, which means a 6-point touchdown wins me the game this week. Oh, boy, that's bad news. I always lose week one. All right, so let's talk about Packers Bears. I'll start it off, if you don't mind, with the Packers. Okay, first things first, Jordan Love was unbelievable on that first drive. He was 3 for 3 on third down. The touchdown pass to Kraft was over the linebacker and in between the safeties. It was basically the most perfect throw that you could make in that
Not only
route.
that was the safety that had thrown his helmet 2 plays before that.
Right, exactly.
So it was like revenge on that play.
Dude, that was such a perfect pass. And then, okay, so we have a 3-and-out, and the Lions are kind of getting in the game. They go down and score a field goal, right? So we're up 10-3. Packers get the ball. Boom, 48-yard pass to Romeo Doubs. Boom, touchdown to Reed. So who got the touchdown? JJ?
Ran it
JJ
in.
McCarthy.
Oh, man, too bad. Well, hey, there's still time left in the game, 2:53. But yeah, you're gonna lose. Dave's gonna lose. Dave's gonna lose his mind because the Bears completely choked this game away. We'll talk about that on our Friday show, though, guys. We got a lot to talk about on our Friday show. But let's get back to the Packer game. So 2-play drive, 17-3. Packers are stepping on the Lions' throats, and I'm loving every second of it. We go back out. We get the interception, right? So we get the interception on the next drive. and then we do a 3-and-out, unfortunately, and then the Lions go down and get their field goal at the end. But dude, that first half, I don't think I've ever seen the Packers come out in a first half just looking so clean and aggressive on both offense and defense. Dude, we were up for it, man. Not only were we up for it because there was a lot of hype, but dude, I'm telling you, the Micah Parsons trade has galvanized the franchise and told everybody on that team, we expect you to win a Super Bowl wearing this uniform. That's what that trade is about. You don't give out 2 first-round picks and give a guy $188 million if you don't think that you're bringing a title home to Green Bay. So everybody wearing the green and gold right now knows without a doubt they are expected to win a Super Bowl, and they believe that they can in the front office, and I love it. And they played like it, man. I have never seen the defense play so aggressive before. In all my years as a Packer, even the Reggie White, Sean Jones, Leroy Butler defenses, like they were good and smart and contained, and Reggie just threw people around. But this defense was just angry, and I loved every second of it, and fast and playing downhill. So they were playing a lot of cover 3, drop 3, so this is why Jared Goff had so many completions, guys, because he was throwing 2, 3, 4-yard passes or passes behind the line of scrimmage, and then people were just coming up and tackling him. Dude, like one of the best running backs in the NFL, right? One of the most dangerous running backs in the NFL. 10 catches, 31 yards, NFL record for the least amount of yards on 10 catches. I mean, who would have thought that a Lions offense would have that kind of record and a Packers defense would set that kind of record, right? Like that was the game plan. We stuck to it. Hafley did a masterclass. Everybody knows it.
He did.
But it starts with defensive pressure. We blitzed a cornerback on the first play of the game. And I was like, oh yeah, it is on. And then we only blitzed a few times after that, and then really never in the second half because we didn't have to, because the 4 defensive linemen were destroying the Detroit Lions offensive line. In the Dan Campbell era, they have dominated the line of scrimmage. That's the whole Dan Campbell persona, right? Dominate the line of scrimmage, fight their kneecaps, be tougher than them, be stronger than them, be angrier than them. And they just got smacked around all day long. There was 18, Doug, we were talking about it earlier. How many were there? 18 tackles at or behind the line of scrimmage for the Detroit Lions, right? And that's the most in the Dan Campbell era. And the most before that was like 11. So it was I think like
70% of their runs, the running back got hit in the backfield somehow. Like he might not have been tackled right away, but he got hit almost every time.
At the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. Right, exactly. 45 yards, also the lowest amount of rushing yards in the Dan Campbell era for the Detroit Lions. I mean, they got punked. And obviously, I think part of it is because Ben Johnson is now on the Bears choking over there. But the other part is that the Packers actually have a real defensive coordinator, and the Lions don't maybe have this tremendously just awesome offensive line. They lost Ragnow, their center. They're starting 2 new guys at guard, right? And it all starts with the center guy. The center's calling out who to block. The center's calling out adjustments, things like that. You lose a veteran center like that. Ragnow was probably top 3 centers in the NFL. Some might think he's the best center in the NFL. He was an amazing player. He retires out of nowhere. They don't know what to do. They're filling in the gaps. I mean, that's going to have a massive effect. And it showed. That Detroit Lions offensive line got absolutely mollywopped, and it was awesome. It was awesome to watch. So, all right, Hype, how do you feel about the game?
Well, so I'm gonna just leapfrog off of what you said. I looked at the PFF grades, the like Penei Sewell toilet seat. He some of the offensive linemen for the Lions graded well. The problem was, and maybe because they have some new guys, there's so many moving parts on the Green Bay defensive line. They're doing stunts, they're dropping guys back. You don't know who's coming. So even though the Detroit offensive line still performed like decently okay, it didn't look like it when you're watching the game. It looks like they're just getting totally crushed because the speed, the strategy of the defense. And this is what's crazy though, guys. The only reason the Lions barely had any yards at all is because Gibbs kept busting it outside with his speed. If they didn't have an extremely elite running back that was super fast on their team, they might not have scored any points in this game at all. Like, that's
Well,
how bad it was.
Laporta actually was okay in the game. Laporta actually was a decent.
They are
weapon
doing
for
dink
them.
and dunk little passes, but they had like twice as many offensive plays, I think, as the Packers. They had to like,
Yes.
and what I'm saying is they weren't playing bad so much. Like they were doing their things and everything, but Goff just was like not having a good day, and the defense was playing well. The cornerbacks graded pretty well, the safeties graded amazing, and the linebackers graded well. The defense just played really, really good. And this wasn't a situation of the Lions playing bad and the Packers playing good. The Lions, other than maybe their offensive line was like okay-ish, but other than Goff, the rest of the team played fine. It's
Right.
just that the Packers were just that much better. And that's what's shocking about this game. It's not like the Lions just showed up and said, we're going to play bad. They tried everything they possibly could to get yards, and just nothing worked. So they got a garbage time touchdown on a circus catch and everything, but it looked like a complete disaster, a complete like domination by the Packers. And that's what's like so shocking, like the entire game. So this is the thing. Okay, the Packers exposed how to beat the Lions now. Like, if you can just confuse their offensive line a little bit and get to Goff, like they are a barely above a 500 team, even though they have lots of guys that are good on their team. And they were like, they only lost 2 games all year last year. And even those games were probably close. You can now beat the Lions. I don't think they're that scary.
I wouldn't say they're barely above 500 team. I mean, okay, maybe they could go 9-8, 10-7. I could
I'm
see
saying
that
if you're able to take advantage of their offensive line and get to Goff.
Yeah, no, they're still going to beat up a lot of teams. They're still going to be better on offense. I think just the massive amount of change this offseason, it was kind of a perfect storm. The Packers have all this mojo with Parsons. You know, they got home field, a game at home to start the season for the first time in 7-8 years, right? Everyone's hyped for it. I mean, it was all stacked against the Lions. I thought the Packers were going to win this game, but I didn't think they would win it in the fashion they did, right? I thought
it'd be close.
I think the Lions getting out-muscled is just not something you see the Lions ever do, right? That doesn't happen. Like, even when they lost the game to the Commanders, they were just making mistakes on defense. They had fumbles, interceptions. It was almost more mental errors. It wasn't like they got out-muscled. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They got out-muscled in this game. They got, like, out-throttled by just pure anger and speed and aggression, which is, like, kind of their thing. And that's, I think, what made it so exciting for Packer fans was like, whoa, we can play fast and angry too. Like our defense. So this is the thing too. Like, if you guys look at PFF grades, I'm not huge into PFF grades. I do think there's some value to them when you're looking at certain things. But if you look at the Packers coverage grades, they're all really pretty below average for this game. And to me, that's not really fair because the style that we were playing in that drop 3 is that we wanted Jared Goff to complete a pass and then tackle, right? So Jared Goff was completing a 1, 2, 3 yard pass.
Overall, these cornerback grades were actually pretty decent for the Packers. Valentine had like a 75.
True, but I mean, Javon Bullards was really low. They actually put Quay's really low because all these catches by Gibbs that are 1 or 2 yards in front or behind the line of scrimmage, they get like a negative grade. But like we wanted them to throw those passes. Again, he was averaging 3.1 yards a catch. I will take that all day. Goff was averaging like 5.9 yards a pass. I will take that all day. That was a great strategy by Hafley, and I thought it was executed extremely well, especially by Bullard. Like if you guys were watching the game, they were playing like a 4-2-5, but Bullard was basically linebacker 3. So you had like edge in the middle, Quay on the side, and then Bullard right next to them, sometimes even closer to the line than they were. Like he was going to blitz and then he would drop out. So Bullard was playing like this hybrid linebacker nickel spot. And I think that's where he's best because he's a good tackler, not a great coverage guy. I agree, but he's a great tackler. And just like Quay from those Georgia defenses, they're used to playing downhill. They're used to playing in front of them. And that's kind of what Hafley had them do. And you can see these guys could tackle. Our tackling was unbelievable in this game. I don't think we missed maybe one tackle all game. I can't even think of a time a Detroit guy not only not got tackled right away, but there weren't 2 or 3 Packers on top of them.
Yeah, if they made one guy miss, there was a guy right there ready for him.
Exactly. They were flying to the ball. It was so awesome. No, I'm really impressed by the the speed our defense played with and the control our defense played with and the ability to, tackle the guy the second he made the catch or right after making the catch and make the Lions go on a 13, 14, 15 play drive and hope they make a mistake. And it worked because they didn't get a touchdown until the end. Okay, I'm going to complain about this catch in the end. I mean, yes, it was a great catch, but let's talk about the NFL rule, okay? I'm going to be a hater right now. I'm going to be a hater. I'm okay with them giving him the catch. I'm 100% okay with it. But by the rule, he has the ball in his right hand. He catches it. You see it move. You see the ball move ever so slightly, right? His right foot touches, then his left foot, and then he connects it with the second hand and falls down. So the problem is when his right foot touches, the ball's moving. Then his left foot touches, and then he secures it with both. By the rule of the NFL, because the ball moved after his right foot hit the ground, that doesn't count. It should have been 1 foot. It shouldn't have been a touchdown. But I get it. It's garbage time. It had no effect on the game. It was an amazing catch. Good job, Tesla, or however you say it. Tesla. Maybe we shouldn't say Tesla. Maybe we shouldn't say that. I don't know. I think that's kind of bad news these days. But technically, by the rule of the law, I don't think it was a catch. And I think if that was like going to determine the game, they probably wouldn't have given it to him. Just to be honest, that's my opinion. Didn't have any effect on it, but from what I saw, it shouldn't have been a catch. And in my heart, we held him out of the end zone. So that's what I'm saying. The Lions got a garbage time touchdown. Boo hoo! Not going to complain.
The Bears just got one too.
And the Bears got a touchdown. Okay, they're still losing. But the Vikings really need to throw the ball to Justin Jefferson 3 times. Exactly, 3 times just to be safe. 2 would probably do the job, but 3 just to be safe, to make sure that the Bears don't get the ball back. They're just going to run it, right? Or Aaron Jones could just bust off a 30-yard run right here, Dave, right? That'd be fine.
No, go with the other running back. Mason is a much better, more secure option. Leave Jones on the bench.
I mean, at least the second half of this game isn't as boring. It was kind of boring in the first half. One good drive and then a bunch of mistakes. But much better second half game. Good throw there. Odunze gets his touchdown for anybody.
Yeah, let's get 2 touchdowns by Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Derek, you brought up a really good point, though. The Packers, what they did is they played Bullard a lot early to stop the run, and then they put in Evan Williams in to play the pass later, and he ended up getting a pick. So there was a lot of strategy by Hafley going on that was really interesting because Bullard's a much better run stopper and Evan Williams is a much better pass defender. Right. And the amount of versatility the Packers have on their defensive backfield, but also at wide receiver, they have so many people doing different things that are like playing pretty well. That's what makes me excited about the Packers moving forward, because it's not just like you're relying on one guy like a Justin Jefferson or somebody that's like super good. There's just like a lot of players playing well. And how you can't scheme against that? Like, what are you going to do? It's going to be countered every time.
So the other thing I noticed that Hafley did too is that Enagbari played a bunch of snaps. Van Ness and Gary switched sides. Van Ness was in a D tackle on a couple of those pass rush downs. Like, I'm really glad he's not afraid to just mix everything up. Like, I would almost love to see Gary, Van Ness, Enagbari, and Parsons, 4 guys down on the line on like a 3rd and 15. Like, why do we need a D tackle? Do you know what I mean? If we know they're going to pass, throw our 4 rushers out there. Because Gary and Van Ness are big, strong dudes. They can play off guard center. Like, they could play off guard center, no problem. Throw Enagbari on the edge. Throw Parsons on the other edge.
You can even make Parsons go up the middle because you can do a little stun and you can just go right by him.
Dude, those guys, that would be terrifying. And I think Hafley would be willing to do it. I mean, the fact that he's basically playing Bullard at linebacker at some plays, and like, I saw a lot of defensive substitutions too.
Almost every snap, the defensive line was different. They're moving people around, doing different
stuff. Keeping guys fresh, keeping them fast. I think that was the key for Hafley in this game, and I really, really liked it. I actually really liked how angry Jacobs ran too in the second half because, dude, let's be honest, like after it was 17-3, and then the Lions went on that long drive. They got the field goal, and then they started the second half, and they went on that long drive. Like, the defense had been on the field for like 40 plays because the only thing in between that was like a 3-and-out and then the 2-play touchdown. So the Packers ran like 5 plays to like almost 40 for the Lions. So the defense was gassed.
They looked like they were in Super Bowl shape the first game because the Lions ran a lot of plays, and the defense never wore down.
Honestly, we can get away with that week 1. If that happens in week 5 or week 15 and the other team's running 60 plays to your 35, you're not going to win that football game. So I think this is a good strategy. I don't know if I want Hafley to do this strategy every game, though, because, again, this strategy, drop 3, you want him to complete passes, you want him to get 3 or 4 yards, you want him to make a mistake, which leads to probably less points scored, but more completions and more longer drives. And I don't know if we're going to do that all year, but I do think we're going to play a lot of zone. And I do think we're actually going to blitz a lot more. I think we just stopped blitzing in that game because we didn't have to. Because why blitz if you don't have to, right? So I think there's going to be a lot more packages that we haven't even seen from Hafley yet. And I'm excited to see those in the Commanders game. So let's talk about what we're going to see in the Commanders game, guys. I think Jalen Daniels is a problem. I think Jalen Daniels is extremely elusive. Jaden Daniels, excuse me, Jalen. Jaden Daniels is extremely elusive and slippery. And, you know, I saw Rashawn Gary whiff on Jared Goff, and, you know, I saw Van Ness whiff on Jared Goff. And
Igbari did too.
Yeah, and Goff just trip over his own feet, and we got a sack out of it. Like, Jaden Daniels is not going to do that. Jaden Daniels is going to miss 2 of you guys on purpose and then run for 25 yards. So these are the games where I think Micah Parsons is more important than any other game, is when we have these quarterbacks that are super athletic, because Gary and Van Ness are not going to track them down. There's just no way. They're not built that way. Parsons could, sure. You know, I think Quay probably could, right? I think Edgerrin Cooper probably could, Javon Bullard, right? So those are our other guys, but I think Jaden Daniels rushing is going to be a big problem, but I'm not as worried about the deep pass or about the outs to Ertz as I am his actual rushing ability. But I don't know. What do you think, Doug? Do you think we come in and have a defensive performance like that against the Commanders, or do you think it's going to be a little bit more like across the board, big plays, rushing plays, kind of even Stevens? What do you think?
I think the Commanders will be able to adjust to the Packers defense a lot better, so it'll be a close game. I think the Packers can still win it at home. But yeah, what'll happen is they'll just, you know, make more plays because Jaden Daniels can escape the pocket and avoid some of those sacks and some of those instances. But the thing that we saw against the Lions, who supposedly have a decent offensive line, it wasn't just Micah Parsons. It wasn't just Gary and LVN. Wyatt and Woodson and all those other guys were also doing good. They graded well. They got some pressure in there. We saw Wyatt, I think, got a sack. And they were stopping the run. Yep. If they can continue to do that, Jaden Daniels will have some problems. I'm not saying that they're going to shut him down, but he's not going to just have like an easy breezy back there, and they can maybe force him into some errors. That makes me very excited to see that. Also, they've got really fast linebackers. They can have Quay. They can have Cooper. They can even have Micah Parsons' spine. They can have guys, linebackers, just playing soft zone, waiting for Jaden Daniels to scramble. And I'm not saying they're going to get him every time, but I'm just saying I wouldn't want to go against that defense. All those guys are extremely fast. They're all like 4.4 speed guys.
Yeah. And I think the Washington Commanders have a decent offensive line. I think getting Laramie Tunsil is a big deal. Like, I think that's a really good move for them. But he is good for about 2 penalties a game, you know, that can stall drives, even though he's probably not going to let up sacks. But the rest of their interior line is pretty good, more run blocking, I'd say, than actually pass blocking. So
maybe they'll be able to run on the Packers, and maybe that's a possibility.
It might, I don't know. I mean, Detroit, even with all their turnover, I think Detroit knows what they're doing when it comes to the run.
Dude, Penny Sewell is the best right tackle in the entire league, and we destroyed him.
I mean, other than Lane Johnson, I'd say Penny Sewell is the best run blocking right tackle. Lane Johnson is the best pass blocking right tackle. And then Zach Tom is right behind both of them. Zach Tom, I hope you're okay. Hutchinson did a dirty play because, dude, the Lions are just dirty. The Lions did a couple dirty plays. I don't really like what they did. Throwing helmets. I'm on Raw, extra stiff arms. They're mad, dude. Let them be mad because we smoked them, but don't get dirty. I hate how the Lions play dirty.
And well, you saw that touchdown after the thrown helmet in the end zone to Kraft. He just turned to him and said, "What you going to do, pussy?"
Yeah. Well,
but he walked away from him. He didn't start any problems. You know, he was just like, "See you later, bro."
I guess we're using that language on YouTube, and that's fine.
Well, we can bleep it. I can bleep it out.
Bleep that out. But yeah. So I don't really know how dominant we're going to be on defense as far as stopping the run goes, because I think Washington is also a good running team, especially with the added versatility of Jaden Daniels. So I expect a close game, but what I really want to see is, you know, our offense was just so hot and so dynamic that first half, and then we kind of sputtered because we were off the field, didn't quite get in our mojo. And then our defense played so well, we got a really short field and scored a touchdown, but we didn't really do much on offense that second half. So I really want to see Jordan Love and the offense like take over and control a game and get a good drive and kind of own Washington's defense, because I don't think Washington's defense is very good. And yes, guys, I know they looked really good against the Giants. A lot of teams are going to look really good against the Giants, guys. Almost all the teams. The Giants defense
offense is terrible.
Yeah, the Giants defense is very good, folks. So the Commanders offense, you know, they had some plays, they did okay, but the Giants offense is not good. Their offensive line is not good. Their running backs,
they might be worse than the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, Malik Neighbors is great, but like, if you had can you name another Giants offensive player that like you would want on your team or on your fantasy team? Because like, you know, no offense to those guys, but like, they're just not top tier. There's really nobody dangerous on their offense. So I'm not too worried about Washington's defense. I do think Dan Quinn is a very good coach. I think defensively he's very smart. But I think
Wan'Dale Robinson was top 12 in receptions last year.
Yeah.
And he was like 78th in yards.
Yep. Well, that's even that. If you watch the highlights, that's even how they used him: short, quick, short, quick, short, quick. And to his credit, he's a small guy. He's very athletic. He makes a lot of plays for them, but they just don't push the ball down the field. They don't have a very good run offense. They don't have a very good pass blocking offensive line. Like, I'm not too worried about the Washington Commanders defense. Let's just put it that way. I think our offense owes it to our defense to win this game, because the defense kind of took it on the chin, taking all those plays and basically taking over the game and stopping the Lions. I think the offense started out great for us, but I'd like to see our offense take over this game against the Commanders and get 3 or 4 good long drives and just like keep our defense fresh.
The Lions defense is really, really good. Like I feel like the Packers offense played at a pretty high level that whole game.
Oh no, they did. They played at a high level, but what I'm saying is they had one good drive to start the game, right? And then the second touchdown, Doug, was 2 plays, which was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. And then the third touchdown, we started at their 38-yard line, so we only had to get 38 yards to get a touchdown. So, like, we didn't have a lot of sustained drives, which is why
we didn't really run the ball at all, like barely at all. And it was not
so
easy.
You guys are kind of like the Bears
hard
tonight?
Yeah, basically, but better. But
we got 24 at least. How many?
You did, and gave up 27. How many? We got.
But I'm just saying, as far as how good your offense did, realistically, the first drive you did good. You marched down, you got the touchdown. You didn't do, you got a field goal after that, and then you got.
I mean, that was a decent drive.
But other than that, it was like meh.
No, the second half we kind of sputtered because Detroit kept getting 10, 12, 13 play drives, right?
Yeah.
And then we come out.
Yeah, you need to have that championship. Okay, let's go out there and we need a drive. We need to tell our defense.
Let the defense rest and not just we had 3 and outs in that game. And that's gonna happen. I'm not saying Detroit's awful. I'm just saying the defense had all the momentum, the defense controlled the game, and the offense took advantage of that in the second half. Where in the first half, I felt like the offense was kind of like the motor and the defense was doing really well. So it kind of flipped. But now the defense is tired after all those plays. So I want to see the offense in this Washington game kind of take over, have some 10 or 12 play drives, take over the running game, right? Make Washington's defense tired so our guys can rest. Because I'm telling you right now, if Washington runs 15 to 20 more plays than us, I don't think we're beating them.
Well, I think we'll be able to run on the Redskins. I think
so
it's going to be a problem. The Lions defense is really good. They have Aiden Hutchinson and all these guys. They play the run really well. Like, we couldn't run on them at all, and we still kicked their butt.
No. And our offensive line did really well. Hopefully Zach Tom's back. It sounds like he might not be, and if we have to sit him. Like, Zach Tom's a great player. It looks like he's got just a hip bruise, but we're waiting to hear more. But yeah, I really want our offensive line to control the run game. That would be preferable. But we'll see how it goes. I don't think
that's going to happen. They're having a little bit of trouble run blocking in this last game, but we'll see. They might improve.
All right, update
game this week.
Unfortunately, Dave can pay attention now because the Bears choked this one away. How many points were you guys up at halftime? Just out of curiosity, how many points were you up?
All that matters is 123 to 121, son. I got you by 2.
Yeah, you did. Dave barely beat me in fantasy, but in real life, the Bears lost, folks. I know. I just needed like one more catch from AJ, right?
The first 8 games are going to be rough. We're going to, if we go 3-5, I think it'll be a winning first half.
Yep. Oh, I'm the commissioner, so I'm actually going to go in and edit Aaron Jones to have 6 more catches. And then, so I'm just kidding. All right. No,
the Commanders game is going to be fun just because of the fact that they went out and they got Deebo Samuel. He's custom tailored to that kind of offensive system.
Yeah,
that they
and he kills the Packers historically. He's done really well against us, right? But that's
So,
pre-Jeff Patley as well.
That was when the Niners were really good, though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but still, it's him and Ertz are great in the short, so that way they can go out to the side and they can kind of open up that middle, which opens up lanes for Jaden Daniels. And then they have Scary Terry can go downfield. So it'll be an Eckler, he can take those dump offs. He's not he's not a hammer or anything, but he can definitely get out in space. So they have all sorts of spacing options out there. It'll be a much better test because you had the continuity with the coordinator who's been there, for 2 or 3 years. He has a second-year quarterback. They upgraded their offensive line. They went out and they got the left tackle from Houston. They went out and they drafted the right tackle out of Oregon, who had only played left tackle his entire career, all the way through high school and whatnot, and then went over to the right, and they're like, hey, he gets it from the get-go. So a much better offensive line. It's going to be a much better test to see what your defense is going to be able to do. Like you said,
the Redskins offensive line, I keep calling them the Washington Commanders offensive line.
I wouldn't say they're much better than the Lions. I think the Lions this game maybe had a bit of a stinker, but I think the Lions offensive line is still very good.
But the interior line is still together. The center Biotish was solid in Detroit or solid in Dallas. So when they got him, that helped to upgrade their offensive line, and so they'll have the continuity there. The tackles, they'll be good. So it's going to be an inverse. So you went from Detroit, who has 2 good tackles and 3 newbies, to the interior is going to be has a continuity, and then 2 tackles that should be good.
2 new tackles, the 2 new tackles. No, I definitely think the Commanders' offensive line is sturdy, and I'll say this too: people forget the Commanders kind of came out of nowhere last year because Jaden Daniels was so good, but the Commanders are one of the oldest teams in the league, folks. They got a lot of veterans on that team. Think about it: Eckler, Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, even McLaurin's an older wide receiver at this point, right? Most of their offensive line are older guys. So, they've got a lot of veterans on that team that know how to win ball
I'm
games.
looking at the offensive line rankings by ESPN, and Washington's 23rd and Detroit's 16. So I don't know if
after game 1, is that from game 1?
No, this is before the season started, right before.
Oh, well, that's just conjecture. But I'm
just saying that people don't think the Washington's offense line's that great.
No, I don't think they're guarded.
Well, it doesn't have to be amazing because they have a mobile quarterback.
Yes, exactly.
Sure. So he's a force multiplier. Having Jared Goff is he's not a multiplier for the offensive
Jared Goff requires a good offensive line. Jaden Daniels does not. Just because of what he can do. So that's why I think Hafley's going to have to spy or come up with. I think we're going to blitz a lot more, just to be honest. Because if he's going to run, he's probably going to run anyway. And I think we're going to try to force him in the middle, blitz from a side, have Parsons on the other, and maybe just have a spy, hopefully in the middle, that can contain him. But we'll see how it goes, because I think the Commanders are a good team. I do. But I think they're absolutely taking a step back from last year. So here's some stats, guys, on the Commanders last year. The Commanders completed 47% of their third downs and 91% of their fourth downs.
Yeah.
They had a crazy, insane fourth down conversion percentage, never seen before. Unbelievable. And they also came back from losing in the fourth quarter, 6 or 7 times last year. That's awesome. But it's so not repeatable. It's really not repeatable. No one's going to be that good on fourth down year after year after year. And yes, having Jaden Daniels means that you're going to be a lot better on fourth down than other teams. Like the Bills, for example, are fantastic on fourth down. Why? Because Josh Allen can run, Josh Allen could throw. But you know what his conversion percentage is about? It's 60-ish%, 61, not even close to what you guys had last year, right? And those one-score games, those don't always fall in your favor. Everyone remembers how great the Bears lost that game, and it will go down in memory in that one-score game, the Bears versus the Commanders last year. See, Dave, it's going to be in the Hall of Fame, but Dave
doesn't ring a bell. Does not ring a bell.
So I'm thinking it's going to be close, but I think the Packers are going to pull it out at home. I'm really excited to see this game. I think Packers Commanders is an excellent matchup, just because you got 2 younger quarterbacks. You've got 2 teams kind of on the rise, right? It's it was Lions and Eagles last year. Everybody thought it was going to be Lions and Eagles. Well, Commanders said, no, thanks. We'll take that. Right. And it looks like the Lions might've slipped, Eagles, who knows for sure? Maybe they're not the same team. Maybe they are just as good. But who's going to be that second team? Is it going to be the Commanders? Is it going to be the Packers? Is it going to be the Lions still? Right. But yeah, I think this is a really good game, and I'm kind of excited for it this early in the season.
I just double checked, and their Cosme, their guard, who's pretty good, is still out for 4 games. So they are down at least one man on the O line of Washington. But the Packers might also be down
Zach Tom, our best
Bombadil.
offensive lineman. Yeah, Zach Tom's our best offensive lineman. There is no doubt about that.
He is.
And so, yeah, not having Zach Tom is terrifying. And having Zach Tom get hurt in the first game after he signs a contract extension is the most Packery thing that could ever happen. So, yeah, that's scary. And the fact that he got hurt jumping over Jordan Love after Hutchinson committed a foul is just like even makes it even worse. But you know what? Zach Tom protected his quarterback, jumped out of the way, landed awkwardly on his hip. I think he's going to be okay. At least it wasn't a non-contact injury, because those are the scariest, right? Like his big body landed, his big butt landed on his hip with all of his weight. That's going to hurt anybody, especially a big offensive lineman. So hopefully it's just a bruise. But if he's not in, I'm fine with that. I would much rather take it safe and make sure that Zach Tom is healthy the whole year. Like Dave said about Parsons, it's about winning the last game of the year, not the first game of the year. So
the Lions have 2 really good tackles, and the Washington Commanders have like pretty much one really good tackle in Tunsil, and the rest of the offensive line is just kind of okay. I think their line's going to actually be
who's their rookie? Connolly, right? Connolly from Oregon, right, Dave?
Yep.
Isn't that who they got? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's a good player, but again, he's still a rookie, so he's going to have if he's going against Parsons going to cook him, let's be honest.
So I'm saying this is going to be not as good as the Lions offensive line, I think.
Yeah, overall. I think, honestly, I was shocked at how often Penei Sewell was getting tossed around in that game. Not just by Parsons either.
Parsons historically is the only player in the NFL that just dominates Penei Sewell. Like, only one.
Because he's so fast, probably. Yeah. But I'm excited for this game. I think it's going to be fun. I really like doing this episode. First episode of Offsides, guys. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Pass it along. Tons of content here. We're going to do one smart and one dumb every single week. We're going to do the roundup every single week. We're obviously going to talk about the Bears and the Packers. You guys can see from our flags, Bears and Packers every single week. We're going to have episodes coming out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we're going to have more episodes coming out on Saturday previewing next week's game. So we're going to be out there a ton talking about the NFL season. I'm excited to do it, guys. I'm excited for Offsides, offensive. And I'm excited for us to be offensive, because sometimes we are.
I can't wait to come back on Friday and talk about how did Green Bay do against the Commanders and talk about everything upcoming. So much fun to talk about real football again. This is great.
Yes, it is. It's back, baby. It's back.
2025, baby. Your one-stop shop. Offensive.